tuned in to the Community Cats Podcast. Ready? Let's go.
Welcome to the Community Cats Podcast. I am your host, Stacy LeBaron. I've been involved helping homeless cats for over 30 years with the Merrimack River Feline Rescue Society. The goal of this podcast is to expose you to amazing people who are improving the lives of cats. I hope these interviews will help you learn how you can turn your passion for cats into action. And today we're speaking with Glen Andrews. Originally from Manhattan, New York, Glen started his career in animal welfare at the Animal Care and Control of New York City in 2002. With a career spanning over 2 decades, Glen has worked at the ASPCA in New York, Houston SPCA, Memphis Animal Services, and the Humane Society of Memphis and Shelby County before accepting his current position with the city of Horn Lake in North Mississippi. Glen has held every position imaginable: animal care technician, event coordinator, foster coordinator, intake coordinator, animal control officer, adoption coordinator, behavior specialist, veterinary assistant, cat transfer coordinator, shelter supervisor, and in 2023, he earned the title Director for the Horn Lake Animal Shelter. As the director of the animal shelter, Glen has created the first ever low-cost spay-neuter initiative and pet food pantry program for the city of Horn Lake and all residents of DeSoto County. Intake at the small municipal shelter has doubled, and he is proud that Horn Lake Animal Shelter is considered a no-kill shelter because they do not euthanize healthy, adoptable animals for space and almost impossible feat in the South. Glen, I'd love to welcome you to the show.
Thank you, Stacy. It's a pleasure being here.
Wow. I thought I had worn all of the hats in any program, but boy, you take the cake. You have done everything. Out of all of those roles mentioned in your bio, I just have to ask this question first before we jump into our regular scheduled programming. Out of all of those roles, which one was your favorite and maybe which one was your most challenging?
I think that my favorite was event coordinator, and that was in New York City. I was just starting with the animal field, and I think there was just so much fun. I was in my early 20s. We were partying at the Ritz-Carlton and having black tie affairs, and it was also brand new to me, and it was just thrilling through and throughout, and it was so fulfilling. It was all for a good cause. And so just being able to do something of that magnitude at that age, it really has stuck with me. And it just let me know that this field is full of ups and downs. Like there can be such a great time that you have with this fulfillment, with helping these animals.
And what was your most challenging position?
I think my most challenging is going to be as an animal control officer and supervisor of Memphis Animal Services. And just the demographics of it. I was coming from up north, and our animals up north are so vastly different than the animals that are in the South. And mainly because, I come from a concrete jungle where everyone lives vertically. So most animals are in apartments on the 5th or 6th floor and up. And for dogs, they're not running at large. People are not having their cats live outside, having a dual existence. Really, if you're a pet owner in New York City, your pet lives in the house with you. So I came to the South just not really understanding the dynamics of pets living outside. We just thought it was so dangerous. So to come here and find that it was a natural thing, I had to really adapt. So it was very challenging in that sense.
So Glen, how'd you get to be so passionate about cats?
It's one of those childhood stories. I think that my passion for animals came naturally. I was just kind of born with it. And I think a lot of us are just born loving animals, just loving life. Some of us are taught, but I think that I was one of those few that was born with it. And I remember being a child, a teenager, and just doing wild, crazy teenager things. But I was with a group of guys who took some kittens from a grocery store, and I grabbed one as well. And so I'm thinking, oh, we're all going to have cats. Well, they wanted to do some pretty disgusting and horrible things to these cats. And I didn't realize until it was taking place. So I actually kidnapped a couple of those kittens and put them in my jacket and ran off. Now, I lost all my cool points, but I had got my cat Nigel and Diamond. And that's how I got my first 2 cats who lived with me in my apartment. And I saved those cats and they loved me for it. And I loved them. until the day that they died. And it was just like someone has to protect them. And if I wasn't there, I think that my two kittens wouldn't have survived. So my passion starts from there. That and the fact that dog people don't really deal with cats and cat people don't really deal with dogs. And as a person who owns cats and dogs, I think that I married the two. And I like being that way. I just feel like everyone is so frigid. Like dog people really just deal with dogs. And I just love being that type of person that loves cats as much as I love dogs.
Right, right. So it's sort of like being Pisces for cats and dogs, right?
Right.
You swim both ways, right?
Exactly.
So I think that's excellent. And I think cats and dogs do cohabitate together very often. And we've actually done some behavioral sessions on how to live with cats and dogs in our world. So it's really nice that you're holistic that way. And obviously, being in charge of animal services, you have to wear both hats. You have to wear the dog hat as well as the cat hat and the dog and cat hat. You've been through an incredible journey. I mean, you've been in this world since 2002, and you mentioned the differences between New York City and the challenges that they had. You've traveled all the way through different parts of the country. My assumption is Memphis and Houston were much larger organizations than where you are now. But tell me what the city of Horn Lake is like in North Mississippi. Is it a large city? Is it a small city? What was it like before you got there, and how has it evolved since you've been there?
Well, the city of Horn Lake is actually very small and it's young. It's a very young city. It was established in 1977. So our population is roughly about 30,000, which is a huge difference from Memphis, which is about 600,000. So Mississippi overall, there are a lot of differences with the laws. Tennessee is a lot more advanced, if you will, when it comes to animal laws. So in Mississippi, you're kind of fitting into the red tape. You're trying to figure out what you can do, what's going to be best, and also thinking about how you can help with adjusting these laws so that they protect the animals a little bit more. And so I think that's our big challenge. It has been a journey. The Horn Lake Animal Shelter it was in a condition which makes sense. It was a little antiquated, if you will. It just seems that all of the new sheltering techniques were not introduced to the city of Horn Lake. And so I came along wearing all these different hats and having all these different experiences. And I started applying them, everything that I learned, which is why I even took the position. I felt that I had taken this long journey and went through so many different categories in this field that it really gave me the insight necessary to do this job and to bring this shelter to where it needs to be. I envision Horn Lake being the hub of North Mississippi when it comes to animal welfare. I want my animal shelter to be the place that people model their strategies after. And so in order to do so, I had to be caught up with all of the present and current sheltering practices. And so that was my challenge, just introducing that and implementing it and getting it to work out and getting people to invest in it. That was the biggest challenge.
You bring up a really great point there that for those that are in leadership positions in the smaller communities, they really do need to know at least about or details around all the different roles and positions that are out there, because at any given moment, you might have to fill that role in a small shop, let's call it. So it's almost more important that you are a Renaissance rescuer, we could call it, or something on that line where you cover all the bases, because you're going to have to wear those hats. And we have this challenge with regards to access to care too, with the veterinarians being in the rural areas, because you've got equine, you've got farm animals, you've got dogs, you've got cats. So you're asking one veterinarian potentially to wear all these different hats, as well as the support staff, to serve the needs of a variety of different animals. You're in your role, you're providing the needs and services in a variety of different ways too. So you're being creative. You're thinking about, how can I do small is beautiful here and provide a variety of different programs, but maybe at a smaller scale. And I feel like there's just a lot of challenges there. But tell me about the programs that you've started to create, or what did you envision? You jump into this job. What did you envision moving forward?
Well, I saw the people of DeSoto County and I realized that there are a lot of devoted animal lovers in DeSoto County, and there's a huge market for them. There's a place for them. And I just think that currently there really isn't a place for the avid animal lover. So that was what I proposed. And my vision was to just be one with the community and be a resource for them and show them that the animal shelter is a place that they can go when they need help to keep their animals with them, when they need help to ensure that their animal is healthy. That's the problem nowadays. So many people want quality care for their pets, but it's just unobtainable because of the financial strains and the time management, just things of that sort. I feel like people are more unhealthy these days. I mean, after COVID, we dealt with a lot of different health issues, which is also impacting people's ability to work and afford things. So I think that we're doing really good by having low cost spay and neuter. And from my business standpoint, this was a market that was untapped. And I saw us being, again, the number one shelter in DeSoto County by tapping all of the markets that no one had tapped before. And so I started a volunteer group, a volunteer corps for my animal shelter, and I brought the age down to 8 years old. And the reason why I did that was because I wanted the children to learn what animal husbandry was like, to begin working on their compassion and their awareness. Because a lot of times the kids are oblivious. No one is teaching them about these small little lives, these precious little packets that we have that we call our cats and our dogs. So I started that, and it's been amazing since we've started it. We started a food pantry, and at first it was all inclusive. If you came to me and said you needed food for your animal, I gave it to you. You signed an application. It didn't matter how much money you made. It didn't matter where you lived. I just gave it to you because we got it as a donation. So the best I could have done with it was expose it to everyone and anyone out there. But that is what spread the word. And once we changed the dynamics of the program and we made it low cost, and for people who were receiving government assistance, which I even include student loans, because, if you really think about it, that is money from the government, right? And so we're including any type of, if you are dealing with the government on any level and receiving any type of funding from them at all, then you are appropriate for this program. And we will spay and neuter your cat or your dog. We will provide wellness, and we will do it in a way where it does not interfere with our current veterinarians and clinics and hospitals. We don't want to take away anything from them. So when we started making it low income, that's when we started offering all of the different veterinarian care. And that's because these people were not going to go to a clinic. They couldn't afford it. So their animals were going to miss out on care. And so this is the market. This is the demographic that we've tapped. These are the people who would not make it to the veterinarian because of the cost of how costly it is. So it's just been an amazing turnaround. I mean, last month we gave out 1,200 pounds of food to the community. And I know we had a cat spay day today. And I think that in the last 60 days, we've already spayed and neutered about 30 community cats, which is huge, which is 100% more than anywhere else in DeSoto County. So it's really up and coming. I'm really proud of it. We're helping the community. People are becoming aware that this is what we're doing, and we want the community to feel this way. We don't want them to shy away from us. We don't want that stigma that the animal shelter will give you a ticket, or you'll get in trouble, you'll have to go to court, or they're going to judge you when you walk in the door. They're going to tell you that you're a horrible person. We don't want that stigma. A lot of shelter workers are jaded because of all of the negative experiences that we have, but our field is so underdeveloped. When it comes to the staff member, the field worker, the person that works in an animal shelter, there are so many studies that have not been done on how the impact on our psyche.
Want an easy grant opportunity for your animal organization? Maddie's Fund is giving away a $3,000 grant each month to one lucky Maddie's Pet Forum member. You'll automatically be entered to win each month when you start a new discussion, reply to a new post, or upload a new library resource. Learn more at forum.maddiesfund.org today.
TNR work isn't easy. You trap them, you neuter them, you release them back into a world that barely notices they're there. It can be exhausting. It can feel never-ending. But the work you're doing, it matters, especially to the cats who rely on you. At Rescue Disinfectants, we see the work you do, the work few are willing to take on. Our powerful, vet-trusted disinfectants help you clean traps, carriers, cages, and litter boxes without the harsh chemicals that could harm the fragile lives you're fighting for. Let Rescue be there for them and for you. Visit rescuedisinfectants.com to help reduce disease risk and support better outcomes for community cats.
Are you a proud cat parent looking for the perfect, affordable health care for your kitty? Well, look no further than the Community Cat Clinic, conveniently located in Woodstock, Georgia, just north of Atlanta and not too far from the Tennessee and South Carolina borders. The health and happiness of all cats are the top priorities at this feline-only hospital. From preventative care, spay, neuter, and vaccines, to specialized and innovative treatments like full-mouth dental, ultrasound, radio, iodine therapy, emergency blockage cases, they've got your cat's well-being covered. For the TNR community and local shelters, they offer easy-to-access low-cost spay-neuter services and volume appointments. So if you want to do a large TNR project, this is the clinic you want to go to. It's worth the extra trip. Appointments are available most days. Check out the Community Cat Clinic online at communitycatclinic.com or visit them in person at the Walmart Shopping Center at the Shops of Trickham on Highway 92 at Trickham Road in Woodstock, Georgia. More per, less price.
I was going to ask, you mentioned community cats. So what is life like for community cats in northern Mississippi? And it sounds like you're doing some community cat spay neuter events. What is your position with regards to community cats?
Well, I've done my research and I have found out that there are 1 in 3 Americans are feeding feral cats. So that already gives us brighter day. Just knowing there are so many people out there that statistically are feeding these cats that are out there. So we know that our cats are well fed. I've never seen a skinny or underweight feral or community cat. They're all fat and plump. So we know that these guys are walking around their entire territory, which is huge, by the way. And they're visiting people. They're visiting those feeding stations. They have several. They have multiple feeding stations. So our community cats are fat and they're plump, but they are not fixed and they're not regularly vaccinated. And that's what I want to change. I want to change it where we're not just up to our eyeballs in cats and unwanted kittens by getting these cats spayed and neutered because they're already living a good life. The people of Horn Lake this is a beautiful crowd of people. They're very giving. They have good hearts. And I just think that once exposed to the right way to do things, I think that they will fall right in line and they will do whatever they need to do so that their animals have the quality that they deserve.
Hip, hip, hooray on that one. I am with you on it 100%. In your bio, you mentioned that your intakes have gone up, but yet you're still considered a no-kill organization. So how have you made that happen?
Oh, my God. It's been tedious, I assure you. It comes from working 60 hours a week. It comes from getting the appropriate staff, putting your staff and putting your aces in their places. I believe that wholeheartedly. But once I got my staff together and we all had our objectives and we teamed up and we tackled it, and through our efforts, we have made new relationships with our neighboring shelters as well as the local rescue groups. But we've also stepped our game up when it came to marketing. We've really stepped it up. We're on Pet Finder now. We have great pictures and videos, which is run by our volunteers who were not there before, but they are there now and they are part of this mission. And that's really the key. Our success really hinges on the community and the volunteers' participation. It really does. There's nothing that we're doing by ourselves. So if I had to quantify how I've been successful with getting animals out, despite the fact that we've gotten 50% more, I'm going to say that it is not only our marketing, it is also the community involvement. It is the volunteers and all that they're putting into it. It is them walking dogs. It is them sitting down and playing with the cats and providing that enrichment. so that when an adopter comes, they are not unhinged, they are settled, and they are ready for that loving that they're going to get from the next human that walks by them. I think that that's how we've been successful.
I just want to ask you about your organizational structure. Now, are you a nonprofit 501c3 organization? Or are you Animal Services Municipal organization?
We, surprisingly, are Animal Services Municipal. We are a municipality. We are part of the government. And it's our shelters that are really frigid. It's our shelters. It's the government shelters that we're behind so much red tape and so much bureaucracy. And so we feel so limited. Well, I challenged that when I came to Horn Lake, and I felt like I didn't even really have to challenge it. I felt like the city of Horn Lake and the leadership that was currently there, who are all animal lovers, by the way, they were looking for that way where they could appease the community and take care of our animals in the best way that we could. And so when they hired me, that was really, they expressed to me that's what they were looking for. And I was so proud of that. And that was something I knew I wanted to be part of. And so just being able to be a part of this team with them, I think that's another component of my success. Just having leadership, a mayor that loves animals and wants us to be the best that we can, and it wants to be involved. That's the key. They are involved. It's the involvement that really helps out as well.
I want to circle back on what you just said. You said looking for the way. So I'm thinking that many of our municipal organizations may be supportive of making change, but they don't know what the blueprint would be, especially looking at community cats. So yes, we want to make sure we have a humane community for cats all across the country in our dream world, but our municipal leaders, they don't know what that looks like. And so as trap, neuter, return organizations, shelters that may have community cat programming, we need to bring some messaging to the municipal leaders. Would you think that would be a good path to take?
Absolutely. I know that the municipal shelter wants to do right by their community, because who doesn't want to? It's a public nightmare when you have that adversarial relationship with the community, right? And so it just takes away from the great work that we're doing when we're concentrating on having a negative impact on our surroundings. And so when you take away from that and you add on a community cat program or any program that's similar to it, you're taking one step forward into showing the community that you're present, that you're concerned, that you're aware, and it shows them that you've been listening. And so all municipal shelters should really stop for one moment and do some learning. Go to the Maddie's Pet Fun forums, check out Best Friends, check out Community Cat Podcasts. When you check out all of these different venues, there's a plethora of information that one can obtain that will help them get these programs initiated. And it is so important today, in today's times, you literally have to have these programs. That it has to be done, or you risk overpopulation, you risk a separation. And again, the municipal shelter is only as good as its community. And so at the end of every leash, filling up every single cat bowl is a person. And so the person is who you have to target. We have to consider the people who we serve.
I'm with you. I just think this is an incredible conversation. What do you think? What are your strategic goals looking ahead for you? I mean, so many people always ask me, when will we be done with this problem? And I'm doing problem in air quotes because I don't think we have a problem. We have an access to appropriate services challenge. And I think we're going to always have to create sustainable programs that will serve the needs of our cats of the community, as well as our cat owners and the families in the community. But what do you consider as strategic goals moving your city forward?
I think one of my most obtainable, actionable items is to microchip all of the animals in all of Horn Lake. I feel that once we start there, we are going to begin an awareness of how to have your pet returned to you if they're lost. Animal shelters are full of pets who have a home and a person does not know how to find them, or the average return to owner for a cat is extremely low. But if we start getting microchips in these cats, it's like how we're doing with the dogs, we stand a chance of getting cats back to their home and getting those percentages up. I'm really proud Horn Lake Animal Shelter is about 20% over the national average when it comes to return to owners. And we saw an immediate return when we started microchipping. And as a matter of fact, I believe in it so much that I actually wrote into our reclaim contract that you have to allow us to microchip your pet. And it does not cost you any more to allow us to do that. But since we did that, I want to say, Stacy, I think that immediately within the first 72 hours, we had already run into one of our microchips. So it was a dog, but this dog would have stayed with us for possibly at least 5 days if we had not found the owner. So that was one more space that was available for longer because we were able to identify that owner and get that animal back home where it belonged. And I think that doing this with cats, this is my vision, to have a day where everyone's cats are microchipped. And when they come to an animal shelter, because cats all look alike. They're not like, I mean, dogs look alike too, but I think that cats really have less when it comes to identifying markers. A black cat looks like a black cat, but if it's your black cat, then you know that this one has a short whisker on the left side, or the eyes are green. You know this about your black cat, but overall, black cats just look like black cats, right? And so let's start getting those babies microchipped. That's another way to identify them and get them back home. I envision a day where this is what our society is going to be, where we're getting animals that are lost and they are returned immediately. And there's no need for a lost animal to be in an animal shelter.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful. A great vision and a great goal. Before we close out, I do want to ask you a few more questions about your spay neuter initiative. Being in a community of about 30,000 folks, I try to estimate like the number of surgeries we have to offer the community. Are you limited in the number of surgeries, spays and neuters that you can do for cats during the course of the year? And do you have any numbers?
I am limited. And the reason why I am is because this program is so new that I could not propose it to my board. And so I had to do all of the footing myself, which was do some grant writing and apply for grants. I'm really proud to say that we got one of the most difficult grants to obtain, which is a Maddie's Fund grant. We got that grant. They were proud of us. They loved the idea, and they gave us some money that we were able to dedicate to spay and neuter. And that is the funding that we have for our spay and neuter program. So just so far, I think we're able to do about maybe 250 cats and maybe about 150 dogs with the amount that they've given us. And so I'm going to get this done. I'm going to reach those numbers. I'm going to send my spreadsheet back to them, and I'm going to ask them for more. But I'm also going to have a spreadsheet to give out to anyone else who is offering a grant for spay and neuter, to show them that I do have the community that needs it. There is a need for that in my community, and we are the team to execute it. So hopefully that will convince other programs who have grants that we are a prime candidate to receive their funding and their assistance.
Wow, that's awesome. I think that sounds great. And once you have a little taste of that spay neuter bug, you're going to just fly. It'll be amazing. You're going to just see the impact, and it's just going to grow like crazy. So I can't wait to hear how things develop over time. Glen, if folks are interested in finding out more about your organization, how could they find you?
Well, we have a bustling Facebook page. It's called Horn Lake Animal Shelter. Just type that in and you can get to our Facebook. We are posting daily. We post all of the animals that we find. We have an instant messenger. So a lot of people talk to us that way. You can also call us by dialing 662-393-5857. If you call that number, you will also get a hold of us. We are there 7 days a week from 12 to 5. You can call us and ask about adoptions. You can also check our pet finder. So there are many different ways to contact us and let us know that you think you have found the fur baby of your dreams.
And is there anything else you'd like to share with our listeners today?
Just that I am so honored and so proud to be on your podcast. I think that it really is testimony of how far North Mississippi is going. When you acknowledge me, you acknowledge DeSoto County and our efforts, because they're collective. I'm all inclusive. Everything that I'm doing is for my county, not just for my city. I want my county to be recognized, to be one of the few counties that's getting with the time and doing all that they can to promote good animal husbandry and companionship with the community.
Wow. Glen, I want to thank you so much for being a guest on the show, and I hope we'll have you on again in the future.
Thank you, Stacy. It's been wonderful. Thank you so much.
That's it for this week. Please head over to Apple Podcasts and leave a review. We love to hear what you think, and a 5-star review really helps others find the show. You can also join the conversation with listeners, cat caretakers, and me on Facebook and Instagram. And don't forget to hit follow or subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, Stitcher, or wherever you listen to podcasts so you don't miss a single show. Thanks for listening, and thank you for everything that you do to help create a safe and healthy world for cats.